this is what I would say. Look, I know you're not going to go to bed square and wake up round, right? Like, Jameis Winston is who he is. He takes chances and risks and everything. But if if a little 5% or less of Drew Brees rubs off on Jameis Winston, he has a chance. He has a chance to be a quarterback in the NFL and not just a backup. Jameis's whole issue is he's irresponsible with the football. You know, as a pro, even in college, but especially as a pro, he does not. One thing about Drew Brees is he was a very responsible quarterback. That's why he was so accurate. If Jameis, you don't want to take the thing out of him that defines him. He is a risk taker. That's what he is. But if he could peel back on that just a little bit, if a little bit of Brees rubbed off on him, that could go a long way. And guys, given his reaction to Brees, maybe Brees had that kind of influence on him. Time will tell, but that's where my mind goes.
I tell you, when you see that, you know, it reminds you of how it's not hard to root for Jameis Winston. He loves the game of football. It's not like he's a scrub. You know what? I might joke around for him giving new meaning for 30 for 30 because he threw 30 interceptions in one season. But let's keep in mind that prior to that, just looking at his numbers, the most he had thrown in the season was his second year with 18. In the other 3 years that he threw, it was 15, 11, and 14 interceptions. So, I mean, that again, the guy's got potential. In his first 5 years in the National Football League as a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he threw 121 touchdowns. Yeah, it was 88 interceptions, but he threw 121 touchdowns. And so the guy's got potential. It's not like he can't play. And I'm rooting for him. But I will say this. Here's what makes you suspect about Jameis Winston. The fact that last year Sean Payton quickly went to Taysom Hill. Because that made you, if you're not covering the team, if you're not watching the team on an everyday basis or talking to the coaches intimately or whatever, Marcus, you're looking at them and saying, wait a minute, you know, Taysom Hill's got some skills and all of this stuff, but Jameis Winston's the guy that used to be a starter. Jameis Winston's the guy that threw for 121 touchdowns as a starting quarterback the first 5 years in Tampa. He's that guy that has shown that potential. He's the former #1 overall pick. All right, this is what he brings to the table. So why didn't he get that job? And I think that that's the question that people have about him now. The fact that it's not us intimately knowing. It's the fact that we saw Taysom Hill get the nod that a lot of us thought Jameis Winston should get. It made you say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Why would Sean Payton make that call? And you trust Sean Payton because you know he knows what he's doing. That's the only thing. But I'm rooting for Jameis Winston. Absolutely.
I mean, when I saw it, I thought it was very reflectionary. Not oftentimes black quarterbacks get a second chance in this league to be starters. That's not like a normal thing. And Jameis having the opportunity to go within that organization and watch Drew operate, be around Sean Payton, see the day-to-day. And then I think he's thinking about, like, I have a real opportunity with a really good football team, and I had a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, pour into me and give me information that I might have not had in Tampa. Remember, guys, like, Jameis never had a chance in Tampa to be like learn the game from watching. If anybody knows me, they've heard me say this 1,000 times. I thought Jameis' biggest benefit would be taking a year to be able to see it happen, to see a guy operate at the highest level. That's why it was smart for him to end up in New Orleans. That's why it was smart for him to be around Sean Payton. And I'll say this too, Stephen A. Sean Payton has said, like, that was something that he wanted to grant to Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill got his opportunity, and by all means, he didn't shock the world, but he played well enough to be in those games and continue to start. Jameis in the offseason, too, may have not had the full grasp of what they want to do offensively. I fully expect him to be the starter, and I expect him to have success, because to Mac's point, if he doesn't turn the football over, Jameis Winston is a top 5 talent at the quarterback spot in this league and could very well have the Saints in contention.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.